putting on outfits. Okay, now you got natural hair. Okay, now you got, now you're happy about your big lips, and now you want to take some pictures and show everybody how cute you are because you happy with your lady curves and all of that good stuff. That's wonderful, but that's not African. That's not African. That's not even that's nowhere near African. All of those things are segments of development, and there's a ladder that you continue to evolve through. You continue to evolve through those aesthetics because we live in a material space. We live in a physical space, right? We want to touch, taste it, feel it, experience it, smell it. This is what we live in. We live with our stimuli. When you're getting into your African frequency, you want to go deeper than physical stimuli. You want to go up in here. You want to get all up in here. You want to get all up in here. You want to be all up in a different level of consciousness when you're talking about your African frequency and your essential energy that you want to reanimate. It's not just about what's going on out here. What's going on out here may be a manifestation of what's going on in here. But when you'll know what's going on in here? Based on what you create in the world space. What your energy creates in the world space. You'll know what your level of evolution is and elevation is based on your physical manifestations of your internal being. You'll know. Nobody has to tell you that. You have an internal clock. If you are on a journey, peace and blessings, Henry. I see you out there. Yes, I'm learning and I'm teaching my children nature and natural foods and their spirituality. Absolutely. You will know. And some of us, we don't even want to go out into the world and test it out. We just stay around the first 3 or 4 people, 5 people. Let me tell you what, up and down, all through and everywhere, all up and down. You should be able to move frequently through the matrix. You should be able to move around the system. You should be able to come and go as you please. Your spiritual, your energy should be moving with you. And you should be able to create a manifestation. You're going to have to do the case study. And then you got to do the application. And then you need to see that those results duplicate over and over and over and over and over again. And you build up the integrity in your power, wherein you know that you have now learned this lesson and you have now matured your spiritual frequency in this way. Oh, it's a journey. It's a journey. It has nothing to do with you putting on some dashikis and wrapping your hair and getting your nose pierced. Nothing, Sue says nothing. You can do all of this work without none of those things. It's not a necessity for your African frequency. I'm talking about Africans from the continent, because Africans on the continent are also disrupted based on an interference in their evolutionary process. So they also need to be reanimated in an African frequency. I'm not talking about just being born on the African continent. Right? I'm not talking about being African here in America or African wherever you are. I'm talking about an African frequency that unifies you as a steward of the planet, ordained your divinity, your intrinsic abilities and nobility, your essential energy where you get to infuse other people, other Africans, and awaken and expand them as your frequency, right? Where you are now in a space where you can stand clearly and say, I want for my sisters and brothers exactly what I want for myself. I want good health and wellness and et cetera, for every single African on the planet, right? And peace and blessings, beloved. I see you. You said, then the interesting challenge lies within our community where there are those of us who are battling the rest of us to justify their own actual blackness, and usually against a stereotype of what a blackness has been defined as in a matrix, and it's crazy. So we got work, family. We got work. And it is work. So this is why I said if you intend to win on something, you want to have an essential coach that's going to get you to where you got to go. You want to have that. You want to have that. And you want to be able to you want to be able to tune up enough where you can filter through information, where you don't just, anybody can't just tell you anything. See, I get into these sometimes rifts. I mean, not now. I just let people rock out, because I don't only offer my information when it's asked of me. I don't offer anybody. I don't just say, because I'm not getting ready to tussle with you. If I need to fight with you with this, you're not ready to say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. On my journey, I've always had a carrier. There's always been an elder, a leader, a carrier spirit, and energy frequency that pulled me in my direction. Partly because for the most part, I've spent a lot of time by myself, with myself. I come from a big family, but I'm not necessarily a part of a big family. circumstance. You know, the black experience in America, right? Circumstances happen in life. So I pretty much been moving. I had a lot of time to do a lot of introspection and a lot of actual work inside of the living experience. It wasn't just moving through here, just kind of willy-nilly about this thing. And also being faced with an ability to see the coding, to see the code, to see it on people, to see it in the matrix, right? You need to devise a solution for the circumstances, African. Sister Melly Queen said, yes, I get tired of hearing you are so black and love my people. Yeah, but well, I'm here to tell you, okay. And she says, oh, fine, genuine people that are researching and learning and create study groups. Yeah, we've grown, as Sarah says, we've grown so used to varying levels of vacant esteem that exist with us that we get enamored by the appearance of the other in our spaces because it in being defined by the matrix as essentially a reward to obtain. It must mean something special if they're there, to our own detriment, more than likely ignoring the truth. They know these folks ain't real, but ignore it and subconsciously. So in essence, it's like, you know, oh, we've arrived and we got our black thing going. Our black thing is cool. All the people want to participate in our black thing. Yeah, so that validates our black thing. Really? Why do I need somebody else who, first of all, people who had a white cultural experience, non-melanated individuals, fell on African soil and said African people were savage because of their lifestyles, because they came from a space where they were over there dressing in stockings and, you know, et cetera, right? They didn't say anything about the agriculture and the fact that these people had been sustaining for eras long before European ever showed up here. So they were so savage, why were they still here? What happened with them? They weren't dying out by droves as if they were in Europe when they were getting hit with all these plagues because of bad hygiene, right? And sickness and different things. They were in the bush, if they were in the bush, living how they were living and sustaining how they were sustaining without help from Europeans. Because I've had African people, I had an African man tell me that if it wasn't for white people coming to Africa, rescuing, this is a black man talking to me like this. He had a nerve. I don't know where he get this from. That it was the white man who came to Africa and helped to civilize African people, to help African people with medicine. That's what he said in a straight face. Straight face. Africa is a very big place. Africa is not like the United States. Africa is an entire continent. Okay, an entire continent. There are several continents that can fit into Africa. That's how big the land mass is. We don't really have a consciousness of what our assets actually are within our community, that we have allowed ourselves to continue to be beguiled into maladaptive behavior. Sister Ty said introspection is a necessity. Introspection, if you're listening to your guiding forces within, introspection will work for you. Sometimes you need an outside or you need a silencing in order to center. Because if what's going into your mind that's sitting in there, the mental side is sitting in there, you've been hollowed out, and the only thing that's in there is white-centered consciousness and this cultural experience, you can think till the cows come home, you will probably not come up, because this is what's happening with our people. There are a lot of people who go through a whole lot of spiritual journey. They go to, get all these yoga certifications. They go and they take these pilgrimages and et cetera, and they come back and they're no better off. They found a temporary salve that's worked, but then their value systems, their energy output, they're not seeding and expanding. What they've improved themselves a little bit, some themselves. But see, if what you're doing is only for you, it's not big enough. Because African people, we're a community. That's our foundation. We are a unified force. This is how we've always been. They're killing each other. Give thanks. Out here, Sister Melly Queen said they do not know. Africa has 54 countries. Whoever owns Africa owns the world. The resources. We over here fighting for crumbs. We've been fighting for crumbs in this country for this long. Because we've been hollowed out and we continue to struggle in this space and trying to find ourselves, and we still have yet to find our African center. in critical mass. It's always about critical mass. It's never about 1 or 2 or 3 of us, because it's a couple of us. But see, I'm here to tell you that there was a time when I would have to tussle with my own folks, family, friend, or foe, whoever. Couldn't even get out. Listen, I couldn't even get none of my family members to come on board with none of this that I'm talking about. No family members. Okay? Strangers, the universe guided me and I found other Africans. As Africa, as rich as Africa is, and our people are starving. Exactly. Because someone is holding the reins. Some white guys said that the same shit the other day on IG in the comments in the video of a young brother in Elkwood that was stopped by the traffic for the traffic ticket. Right. Shaking my head is going is strong and wrong. If it wasn't for white folks, you'd still be stuck in huts. As if white folks wasn't coming to Africa and getting education. Right? It was like, you know how some folks that go away, they go to Oxford, or they go to Harvard, or they travel to these elite universities, etc. Coming from Europe, going to Egypt was that thing where you went and got the education. So that's what Socrates and Aristotle and Plato and all of these folks, they talk to you about. Their education, they synthesized it, they manipulated it, they repackaged and rebranded it, and that's what they sit in front of you. But they didn't invent the theories. They didn't invent the theories. They came from somewhere. Stolen legacy. You guys got to check out the stolen legacy, family. Anti-blackness is real. There are anti-black folks. You better speak on it, sis. I get it every day. I get it every day. These are the gatekeepers. So if I'm in a space and we're trying to infuse African people, and I'm trying to infuse African people, and we have Africans in this space who are unaware of themselves being an obstruction. Remember something, if you're not one of us, peace and blessings. If you're not one of us, you are one of them. So you need to really be clear about where we're going. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, family. But I just wanted to come in and put that in your spirit. Because this is what I do out here. Nefera to my Rod, coming in from the Keys of Soul Powerhouse with a brainstorming session, such as I've been inspired by the ancestors and the divine essence. So let's just check in with our African consciousness. Peace and blessings, family. You know what we do? Sawubona. I see you, and namaste. The divine in me honors and respects the divine in you.